Oh, what? Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get this live all set up right now. Hi, Jordan. Okay, let's see. Okay. I feel like this is so true when people are like, yeah, I have like 4 cameras set up and trying to figure out my whole system. Like, that's literally me right now. I really have no idea what's going on. But okay. We're just gonna go for it. It's pretty early in the morning here, so that's why it's so dark still, but I think as we continue, it's gonna be brighter. So anyhow, how are you guys doing? I want to know, give me a wave if you guys found a challenge buddy to do the challenge with. Love to hear about that. I am super stoked. There is over 50 people doing the sugar challenge. Not everyone joined the Facebook group, but that's super cool. And I'm super stoked to just see that, you know, there's that many people out there that are struggling and they know that they're struggling and they're aware of it. And I think it shows how prominent and how big of a issue is that sugar, like refined sugars, are interacting with our body in a negative way, and we're feeling it. And it is really hard to live without encountering refined sugars like every day, let alone every meal. So I'm super stoked to do this with everyone, and yeah, it's just really cool to see that everyone can come together. So I know how hard it is, and that's literally why I'm hosting this, because I've been there so many times. Okay, did you guys clean out your kitchen? Give me a wave if you cleaned out your kitchen. Let me know if that was hard, if you guys threw any foods out. If there was any surprises that you maybe looked at a label and didn't realize that there was sugar in it, let me know. Okay. So today is gonna be a shorter video. The last video that we did was 40 minutes. If you missed it, you can go back and watch it. I sent you an email link, or it's on the Facebook page. But today we're gonna talk about what happens if you fall off track. Okay, Elizabeth said you're cleaning out your kitchen after this live. Yes, I love that. Okay, let us know how it goes. Okay, so what happens if I fall off track? First, I want to tell you a little story. So when I lived in communal living in New Zealand, there was a dining hall, and they would feed it like a cafeteria, and they would feed us all our meals. And we never got dessert, but our diet there, we often, like me and my friends, would buy a lot of chocolate, a lot of candies, just to sort of stay afloat and stay energized. I think we were just like living off of that. And so at one point we like realized, and we were like, okay, we have to do a week without sugar. We're doing it together. So there's 3 of us gonna do it together. And the first night, like I kid you not, they literally have carrot cake in the dining hall, and they never have dessert. Like maybe every 2 weeks on a Thursday they have like dessert. And so there's carrot cake, and I at that point love cake. Like that is my go-to food, my favorite thing. And I was like, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take my piece of carrot cake, because we all get one, right? And I'm gonna walk it back to my little dorm and where there's a little fridge, and I'm gonna put it in the freezer until this week is over. But that was like way too long with me with sugar alone. Like I got icing on my fingers, and I was like, okay, let's just taste a little bit of the icing on my walk over, because it's like a 2-minute walk. And I was like, oh, I just had a little bit of sugar like on my finger. Let's have a little bit more. And this is so funny. Like, this is like what I'm talking about when I say sugar robot, where you just like, it kicks in and you're like, I just had a little bit. And so I get to the freezer. I've like licked off like some of the icing already. And I have the freezer open, and I literally eat the whole piece of carrot cake right then and there. And like, I think that everyone can sort of relate to the shame that they experience, and that shame that I experienced in that moment was just like, I let my friends down, I let myself down, I can't believe I did this, and just like again and again, and just like feeling terrible. And like, I had made it so close to the freezer to save this cake, and then I did not. So what I want to talk about today is falling off track. And firstly, let's have grace for ourselves in those moments. Grace for ourselves. Don't sit in a shame storm, because we can just get so caught up in that and like make ourselves feel terrible. But it is what it is, and we need to move forward. I think one of those big moments in that situation for me was like, I needed to avoid the cake table, right? And I think that's why I'm asking you guys and telling you guys, like, we need to clean out our kitchens. Like, we can't have it. We can't be around it. Like, I think, especially while we're like realizing and learning what we can replace it with and how we can feel off of it. And then also, as our taste buds regenerate and realize like, okay, like, I don't enjoy this anymore because it's not supporting my body, not supporting my system. Yeah, so I think like that's a really big one. That's why I'm asking you guys, like, let's get away from it. Like, let's not even go close to the cake table. And so when you get into that place, I want you to consider, like, what got me here? Was it these people? Was it this room? Was it this restaurant? And how can we rewire that next time and prepare and plan for that next time? So, yeah, that's what I would like to say about falling off track. I talked about it a little bit in the last live, but James Clear from Atomic Habits talks about how when we're wiring those new habits in our brain, like making the connections, if we fall off track, those connections have not broken. They like just pick back up tomorrow, and it will keep building that strong habit in your brain. And so I think that is just a cool way to like remember, like, when that happens, or if that happens, like, keep going. And I know a lot of people who have told me, like, Danica, it's easy when I say, like, for 2 weeks I'm not eating sugar, but when I say, like, oh, I'll have a little bit, that's the hard place. Can you guys relate to that? Like, oh, here and there. And so that's really what I want to try and like share and teach, is that going forward, what's our plan? Like, how are we going to do this in a healthy way and sustainable way, when we're not just saying like, there's no sugar allowed. Now there is sugar allowed, and how are we going to have a healthy relationship with it? And how are we going to build that healthy habit with it? Okay. And my whole method and strategy of doing that is replacing it with foods that you really love and enjoy, that are good for you and that are going to build you strong. And this week, and we're really focusing on fruits, and because I just think it's the most perfect way to get your sugar, and I think that we don't eat enough of it. Like, why not, instead of a cookie, eat a whole mango? And like, you are getting, like, how many nutrients are you getting from that versus maybe a cookie, right? The mango is in a perfect form. Okay, just gonna look at my notes here. Okay, So as we continue after the challenge, like this is a big reason why I said like get a challenge buddy, is I want you to find someone to check in with after the challenge. I want you to check in with yourself every month, and I think that that's part of building a habit. Like I think when we make maybe New Year's resolutions or goals, we have the 12 months to figure it out, like, right? Or we have a certain amount of time, like we're not going to be perfect the first day. And so we need to like keep coming back and be like, okay, let's do it again. Let's focus on it. Like, how are we gonna change things this time? And so that's what I want you to do with your buddy. That's your assignment, is find someone. Or if you can't find someone, look in the Facebook group if there's anyone that you know that you want to do this with. Accountability makes your goals, you get so much closer to your goals when you have accountability, right? So even if you say this out loud, or even tell it to your mom, your partner, something like that, right? I want you to set a date in your phone from about a month from now and just like punch in there. I've got 2 questions for the assignment today, and it's just sort of like, how are you doing in terms of sugar? Are you proud of where you're at? What things do you want to like pull back, or what things do you want to shift? And we need to keep setting that in our phone, or, you know, on our calendar, to check in again and again until this is like a strong habit, until we find wholesome foods to replace those foods that we know are not helping us with. Does that make sense? Okay. And the reason that I say that this is like habit building, that I'm really into, that's why I'm really focusing on habit building, is I believe it is. I believe that we grew up in a household, and we sort of take what our families cook. And my mom is watching this, but I'm not, but I think that we ate a very good diet in my household growing up. But I also think that we, for generations, take down, like we learn from our parents what recipes we like, what foods we like, and how to make them. And it gets ingrained in us, and that's sort of like what we're used to. That's like our normal diet. And also, the grocery store is not helping by selling high sugary foods with corn syrup and all these foods that are cheap in the grocery stores. And so it's a habit. Like, that's what we go to get. That's what we buy. And so that's the part where I'm saying, let's shift this a little bit, and let's re-teach ourselves. Like, it's overwhelming, maybe, for like as an example, to say, I'm going to be vegetarian, if you've never grown up doing that. And this is the same way. Like, let's learn how to eat wholesome foods that are nutrient dense, that aren't filled with corn syrup and sugar, right? So I think that when people say you're like the closest 5 people around you, have you guys heard that? You sort of like become the closest 5 people around you. I think it relates to food too. Like, I think that we sort of eat what everyone else around us eats. And so we have to be aware of that. And I think that many of us are so lucky to be able to choose what we eat and put into our body, because I think that there's so many people who do not get to choose that. And so I think I'm just like, that's why I'm like so stoked and thankful that I can be sugar-free, that I can choose to have foods that fuel my body and restore my body. So, yeah. So let's maybe, if you feel like those 5 people around you are struggling, or like maybe not eating the diet that you want, like maybe you have to be the start person and be the one that's gonna bring hummus and carrots to the party. Like, maybe you'll be the catalyst. Okay. So it takes about it's not clear. I was trying to find this. I was reading one book and they were saying it takes 6 days to regenerate your taste buds. Maybe somebody knows this, but it seems like it's between 6 and 14 days that your taste buds regenerate. And I think that I've seen this, not specifically with spicy food. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but there's a time in your life where you're like working up to have spicier food and you get more used to it, and then sometimes like you stop eating it for a while and then it's like super spicy. I think that shows you a little bit. But when I said in the last live video, I had an ice cap after I had been off sugar for like 6 months, and within the first sip, I was like, whoa, can't do this, instant headache. So, so part of the reason that I wanted to do this challenge for 2 weeks was that I want to regenerate your taste buds a little bit. I want you to appreciate and learn to love fruit or other options. And I know that like we're still gonna have a sweet tooth, and part of it is like, let's learn what to replace it with. But yeah, that's great. You're eating hummus and crackers right now. Okay, I love that. Yeah. Okay. So we're on day 4. Are any of you guys experiencing any symptoms? This can be different depending on the amount of stress you're have experienced in your life, as well as the amount of sugar that you ate prior to the challenge. But my little list here include like things that you can experience when you come off of sugar, headaches, fatigue, irritability, loss of focus, insomnia, extreme cravings, and thirst. So if you're feeling any of those, it's just how it is right now. But day 3 and 4 are usually the hardest, and then it gets a bit easier. So that's what I'd like to say. Okay. If you are feeling that, I want you guys to drink lots of water, drink lemon water. Something that I find, this is my tip for today, is that apple cider vinegar, like a shot of it or mixed into your water, like a tablespoon mixed into your water, sipping on it, you actually like lessens the craving. I also find, this is another fun tip, not necessarily about sugar, but it could be from a sugar, is if you're experiencing bloating, I find that having a cup of water with apple cider vinegar really helps cut the bloat. So that's today's tip. You can try it. I know that it's sort of an acquired taste. I would encourage you to find an organic apple cider vinegar with the mother in it that's like more in its natural state and more naturally fermented. Yes, also, if it's very stressful right now or low sleep, those symptoms might be worse. So just be aware of that. Try and get some more sleep if you can, if it's possible. Yeah, it's really, really hard these days to get away from stress. So I think that's another reason, like that creates more cravings and increases our cortisol level, and there's like a whole cycle of things going on with cortisol and sugar and stress, and that's why we need to focus on giving ourselves foods that are gonna energize us and make us feel strong. Okay, so I'm almost done talking. How long have we been talking for? Almost 20 minutes. Okay. I want to ask how you guys' breakfasts have been, because that is a key part of this strategy, is to start the day with breakfast. So, yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys have been eating, if it's been hard, if it's something that was already part of your normal routine. Let me know. I have been eating lots of oatmeal lately. I find that the less processed the oat, the longer it will keep me full, because my body takes more time to break it down and it's more nutrient dense. So I would encourage, if you like oatmeal, I don't suggest instant oatmeal. I don't suggest the packages. If you can, Bob's Red Mill, shout out to Bob's Red Mill, has quick cooking oat groats. Is that what it's called? Now I'm like, it's blanking me. Oat groats, and you guys have seen them. They like don't look like oats. If you get the long ones, you need to cook them overnight or like for 7 hours in the you can do it in the crock pot, and that's actually really yummy. Like in the crock pot with apples, But you can get the quick cooking ones, and they take like 7 minutes. And those ones actually I find keep me full the longest, which makes sense if you think about whole foods versus processed foods, because they're groats and then they roll them. Like that's why it's called rolled oats. They roll them and then they, and then we eat those usually. So there's like groats, rolled oats, and then there's like quick oats and instant oats. So, I mean, each step down we go, I think that it's going to make us more hungry and we're not going to be able to be sustained and full as long as we can. Okay, I'm going to read these. Sorry, I turned my thing sideways now. Okay, Jordan said, I love making coffee, peanut butter shakes in the morning, especially when you're short on time, and stock up on the Bob's Mint milk. Yes, totally. Okay, that sounds super good. Love that. I am living in Kenya right now, and I don't have my Vitamix, and I am missing smoothies so much. But also, I have a mini fridge, and I don't have a big freezer, so it doesn't really make sense for me to make smoothies right now. So I'm really focusing on fresh local fruit, and that's really been awesome. And I think that that's like how we need to focus on eating, like what's around us, what's local, what's adaptable, like what can we do for this lifestyle at this moment. And so yeah, that's awesome. Like if Jordan's having quick mornings, then she can have shakes, and I love that. And this morning I started the day with a papaya and a handful of almonds, and then when Koa wakes up, we'll all make oatmeal together, and we'll have that together. So yeah. Oh, Mom bought steel cut oats. I didn't see that one. Awesome. Okay, so the assignment for day 4 is make a check-in plan. Put that in your phone. I would recommend you to do that once a month, or a big overhaul, like a big look at your goals seasonally. I mean, that's good to do with life in general, right? And so I would just remind yourself of that, because it comes faster than we think. I would recommend you to get your buddy to put it in their phone too, so that you guys maybe have like a coffee date, go chat about how you're doing with sugar, where is it hard, where is it easy, what are you proud of, what habits would you like to improve. Yeah. And then the second one is, I talked a lot about the why in the first live video that we did, and in the email that I sent out, I encouraged you guys to say, why you're grateful every day. And so I just want to encourage you to do that. And if you haven't had a chance to do that yet, journal out your why. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, you can watch the other video, but that's just a very crucial part, and that's really going to help us be on track. Yeah. So those are the 2 quick assignments. I mean, the biggest ones were from day 1, and now going forward with the challenge, there won't be as many assignments, like finding your body and cleaning out your kitchen and getting some other snacks. But if you guys haven't done those ones yet, I encourage you to do that. Find a buddy to do the challenge with. It's not too late. Clean out your kitchen. Look to see what things you need to get rid of, what things you need to box up, give away, and then replace them with healthy snacks and healthy foods. And yeah, have stuff within your reach, because those are very important. And then just a reminder of our strategy is to focus on breakfast, to stay full, so have foods around you that are going to energize you and make you feel good. And then when you're craving something, reach for water first. You might be dehydrated. You can try a little bit of apple cider vinegar in there, maybe a little bit less, and work your way up. And that can cut your cravings. So yeah, that's what I have to share today. Do you guys have any questions or thoughts? My video is sideways, and your questions are coming in this way, so I'm gonna just try and read them. Okay, Katie said quick oats, plain. I found them to be a bit salty, but good. and just made the fried eggs and the homemade ketchup. Okay, I love that. You commented that you thought the recipe looked good, but I didn't know if you were actually gonna try it. I thought it looked interesting because it had dates in it. I've tried another one with molasses in it. Oh no, I think that was a barbecue sauce I've made with molasses in it and tomato paste. It's really good. Can try, and that's in my cookbook at home, but I can maybe find another one if you guys want a barbecue sauce recipe. Okay, Elizabeth, how many pieces of fruit can we have a day? Honestly, you know what? Fruit, like, go wild. Like, maybe if your body is, I don't restrict it. Personally, from my point of view, I think that if you're eating wholesome meals and then you are having sugar cravings, like, eat 2 mangoes. That's okay. I think that your body is getting a lot of vitamins, a lot of things that it needs from it. And I do think that I think it's so good for us. So I think go for it. It's awesome. Okay, good. Yes, the ketchup is good, and we can look for a barbecue sauce. Awesome. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining me this evening / my morning. Yeah, it's been good to connect, and I really feel encouraged by the amount of people that are just feeling like, let's do this, like, let's run after this. This is really, really important, because it is so important, and I think you're gonna really feel the difference, and I just want to encourage you that it's possible to make this a lifestyle change, and it doesn't mean that I'm never saying that you can't have cake again, but we're having too much refined goods and refined sweeteners. Let's eat it in the whole form, like fruit, like dates. When the challenge is over, like, I think honey is good in its natural form. We do need to be aware, like, all of these things are going to spike our blood sugar levels. So Elizabeth, like, you had asked how many pieces of fruit. If you guys are finding those spikes with just eating fruit, like, you can add some nuts to it, or have maybe a whole grain bagel with it, or something that's gonna, or like your steel cut oats or your oats with it, right? That is gonna help you have a more steady blood sugar level. But yeah, I hope that helps. Okay, I'm gonna log off for today, but we will talk again. Does that date spike your blood sugar level? Yes, Frida, it does, but less than, like, straight sugar. Like, anything that has more fiber and more water in it is going to be a little bit less. And then, like, there's certain fruits you can tell, like pineapple and mango are like high sugar fruits, but then like blueberry, like all berries are low sugar fruits, so they're going to spike your blood sugar less. So they still will, but to a lesser extent. And then I think what I really want to focus on here is, often we have, you know, a white sugar cake with, well, not often, but we do have, as an example, like a quick carbohydrate thing that's maybe white sugar, white flour, icing on top, or maybe something not so, like, maybe it's more hidden, like just like digestive cookies, that it's gonna spike faster than if you have something with more fiber, which is gonna be like fruit is high in fiber, or like whole grains is gonna spike it less. So if you have like oatmeal with a little bit of maple syrup, that's gonna spike you less than you have like a digestive cookie. And you're also getting more nutrients and minerals and vitamins from your oatmeal and your maple syrup and everything. I hope that makes sense. Okay, we will talk again on Saturday at 8:30. Yeah, I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. If you're feeling like it's hard right now, it is hard right now. and you are gonna get through this, and it's gonna become easier, okay? So if you guys have more snack ideas that you want to share, or more foods that you're struggling with, wondering how to replace, totally post that in the Facebook group, and I can reach out, and other people are really creative too, and we can all brainstorm together about how we can replace it. Okay, so much thanks, and we'll talk soon.